Hello, dear viewers. Today we will discuss a highly important and thought-provoking topic: masculinity and societal pressures. In our society, there are many unwritten rules and expectations about how men should behave, feel, and even think. These expectations are shaped by centuries-old traditions, cultural norms, and even popular media. So, how do these rules affect us? How do they confine men into a certain mold, and is it possible to break free from these molds? And perhaps most importantly, how does society react when we try to step outside of these boundaries? We are here to search for the answers to these questions. In this video, we will delve deep into the concept of masculinity, discuss the effects of societal pressures on men, and explore ways to cope with these pressures. We will address the challenges that come with being a man and explore steps we can take to overcome these challenges. Remember, this is an attempt to start a dialogue, and I encourage you to watch the video until the end and share your thoughts in the comments section below. Let's discuss. In our society, masculinity is often associated with power, independence, and a lack of emotional expression. This concept can lead men to disregard their emotional needs and focus solely on showcasing their physical strength. But how healthy is this really? Crying, expressing fears, or asking for help is often seen as a sign of weakness for men. This leads men to emotionally isolate themselves and suppress their true feelings in order to be accepted by society. So, what could be the long-term personal and societal consequences of this situation? In this introductory section, we will look at the historical origins of the concept of masculinity and the impact of societal expectations on men. We will also examine the potential effects of these expectations on men's psychological and social well-being. We will discuss the barriers to emotional expression for men and offer ideas on how to overcome these barriers. Social pressures create restrictive patterns for how men should behave in their work and personal lives. These patterns limit men's ways of self-expression and their relationships with society. For example, a man crying or being emotional is often seen as a weakness. Such stereotypes can negatively affect men's emotional well-being and isolate them. However, where do these patterns originate from? Throughout history, men have been seen as hunters and protectors, and these roles have imposed an obligation to be strong and emotionless. Today, through media and popular culture, these roles are reinforced and even exaggerated. Male heroes are often portrayed as lacking emotional depth and emphasizing their physical strength. This creates pressure on young men to identify with this image. The consequences of these pressures are quite serious. Men avoid expressing their emotional needs, which endangers their psychological health. Lack of emotional expression can lead to problems such as stress, anxiety, and depression. Additionally, this affects relationships among men. Friendships remain superficial, and genuine emotional support is rarely found. So how can we change this situation? In this section, we will discuss steps we can take to overcome social pressures and support men's freedom of emotional expression. Understanding men's emotional needs and respecting those needs can be the beginning of this change. Research conducted worldwide shows that men tend to avoid sharing their emotional problems, and this has a negative impact on their psychological well-being. For example, suicide rates among men are higher compared to women, and this is one of the serious consequences of social pressures. Many men hesitate to seek help because seeking assistance is often seen as weakness. This can increase feelings of loneliness among men and lead to isolation in society. According to research, although women face higher levels of gender inequality and social pressures, men are also affected by these pressures. For instance, it has been observed that men feel pressure to fulfill specific roles in their work and personal lives, and this can have negative effects on their psychological well-being. During the COVID-19 pandemic, a survey study highlighted that men are also affected by the social and economic impacts of the crisis, emphasizing the need to consider this from a gender perspective. Such crises can influence men's position in the labor market and their social roles, leading them to feel the pressures more intensely. The experiences of individuals who have overcome social pressures can inspire other men. For example, stories of individuals who have succeeded by following their own passions and talents, even if society expects them to adhere to certain professions or behaviors, demonstrate that these pressures can be overcome. Such stories can help men explore their own identities and emotional needs and provide encouragement in coping with social pressures. To cope with social pressures, it is important to ensure that men have the freedom to express their emotions. Creating an emotionally supportive environment allows men to express their emotional needs more comfortably. This can start within the family, where parents can demonstrate to their children that they are free to express their feelings. The importance of emotional intelligence can also be emphasized in schools and workplaces. There are steps to be taken at both individual and societal levels to combat social pressures and promote emotional openness and solidarity among men. Here are some of these steps. Individual level steps. Self-education. Education is important to understand the origins and effects of social pressures. Men and society need to understand the harm caused by these pressures and raise awareness. Encourage emotional expressions. Making efforts to support and normalize men's emotional expressions can improve their emotional well-being. Develop empathy. Developing empathy towards the emotional experiences of others can increase emotional openness and understanding. Societal level steps. Education programs. Educational programs on emotional intelligence and communication skills should be organized in schools and workplaces, giving importance to men's emotional expression freedom. Media and campaigns. The media should produce and disseminate content that promotes emotional openness and understanding of men's emotional needs. Support groups and counseling services. Platforms should be created where men can share their emotional. Schools and universities should conduct awareness campaigns on emotional health and provide students with emotional skills. Workplaces. Employers should provide the necessary environment to understand and support employees' emotional needs. These steps can be implemented with the participation of all segments of society to understand and support men's emotional needs. This way, while combating social pressures, the preservation and enhancement of men's emotional well-being can be achieved. Creating more awareness about masculinity and social pressures can help us overcome these issues. Respecting and supporting men's freedom of emotional expression is key to creating a healthier and happier society. By the end of this video, we hope that our viewers will become more conscious about these issues and take steps to overcome social pressures. We hope this video has helped you gain new perspectives on masculinity and social pressures. We all have emotional needs, and expressing those needs is a part of being human. Let's continue to promote emotional openness and understanding for a healthier society. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you in the next videos. Goodbye.